Now, a year ago, the Ukrainians said they were using 10,000 drones a month. That means they were expending 10,000 small UAS a month. How many drone operators does that mean? Not 10,000, but a lot. How many drone operators do we have in the US military? How many drone operators do we have in the UK military? In units, in infantry battalions, in infantry brigades, in armored brigades? Think about that. Not enough? Hardly any, which is the sad part. Now, today, it's $50K per month.
50,000 drones a month. This is what's going on in the Ukraine war. A lot of people in the United States don't really pay much attention to that anymore because it's been going on so long. But what we're witnessing is a revolution in armed warfare. This is a story out of Interesting Engineering. World's first fiber-optic FPV drone launched to survive heavy electronic jamming. Radio-based drones links are slowly turning obsolete. This FPV drone ditches them entirely. I found the headline a little bit interesting because the world's first fiber-optic FPV drone, it already exists. And I'm going to show that to you here in just a moment. But as we go through this story, U.S. defense tech company Neros Technologies, in partnership with Israeli-based Kila Technologies, has announced the launch of Archer Fiber, described by the companies as the world's first NDAA-compliant fiber-optic FPV drone. And that's an important thing. The compliance is to make sure that all the parts are sourced from other places, preferably the United States, but none of them from China. This goes through that. The platform, now cleared under the U.S. Department of Defense's Blue UAS program, passed what the companies describe as a competent level audit, ensuring that no critical parts originate in China. And that's very relevant because we at some point will probably be cut off from a lot of this stuff because the Chinese are making FPV drones themselves. This is the company's the statement itself. Neros Technologies and Kila Technologies launch Archer Fiber, the world's first NDAA-compliant fiber-optic FPV drone. Pre-ordering now. Wait, there's more. I just love that. The initial headline is what got me with this one. World's first fiber-optic FPV drone. They just neglected to announce that it was compliant. Now, moving into this drone section and why this is so important, why this is a critical industry for the United States to, if not be a leader in, be on par with. This is out of The Guardian. Most people don't know this. Drone warfare in Ukraine in pictures. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has changed the way war is fought, with more than 70% of frontline casualties on both sides from airborne drones. That number used to be for artillery. 70% of all casualties were from artillery. The FPV drone is the modern artillery piece. And I'm going to show you how it's used, because a lot of people don't really quite grasp how it's used. It's brutal.
Ukraine's drone army is transforming the battlefield. Swarms of cheap, improvised attack drones have helped to balance the fight against Russia's larger army, blurring the line between consumer electronics and weapons and reshaping the balance between humans and technology in war. The first-person view, or FPV drone, did not exist in its current form at the start of the war. Based on consumer racing quadcopters, it's fast, capable of speeds of up to 160 kilometers per hour, and nimble and small enough to duck into bunkers. Built from off-the-shelf components, it's cheap to make and easy to customize with 3D printed parts to carry explosive payloads. In the field, it's typically controlled by a pilot wearing goggles that relay what it sees in real time, offering remarkable maneuverability that helped both sides inflict heavy damage on the other. Soldiers can hide from conventional artillery bombardments underground in trenches, but a drone can loiter near its target, a persistent threat that can strike at any time. Skilled pilots can even strike weak points on tanks or chase soldiers into cover. The psychological effect can be devastating. The appeal of FPV drones is their cheap, accurate firepower compared with more conventional weapons. Unguided artillery shells cost anywhere between $800 and up to $9,000 each. A GPS-guided shell is closer to $100,000, and a Javelin anti-tank missile around twice that. But a simple FPV drone costs well under $1,000, and is capable of destroying equipment worth many times that. Now, President Volodymyr Zelensky has founded a new branch of the armed forces dedicated to drone warfare, and stated his ambition to build 1 million FPV drones in 2024. But they do have limitations. Small drones typically struggle in wind or heavy rain. Electronic interference and radio jamming systems can sever their connection to the operator, making them useless. And while these problems can be addressed with further modifications, those vastly increase the cost of production. Russia now also churns out hundreds of thousands per year. And from Myanmar to the Red Sea, other forces are adopting weaponized drones too. As these hunter-killers fill the skies, the armies beneath them will have to develop new ways to fight and to survive.
And we've seen drones now being used in the Thailand-Cambodia conflict. We saw it with the Nagorno-Karabakh war. Drones are definitely, most definitely the future. They're not the future. The current trend in warfare. And the United States really needs to catch up. And these things are not used on equipment to the extent that you're made to believe by that video. I'm going to show you portions of a couple other videos. I'm not going to allow them to go too deep into it for obvious reasons. This is an FPV drone strike. This fella, who was clearly taking an extracurricular side break, probably vacated in a way that he's never vacated in his life. I'm sure that was a heck of a surprise. And, you know, being as comical as this might be, is, you know, clearly nothing has happened to him other than he got the shit scared out of him. Literally. What you're seeing here is what drones are pretty much used for. They go after individuals. And there, we're going to pause it. You can see the drone right there. You can pretty much imagine what's about to happen. This video is 10 minutes of that. 10 minutes. There's very little equipment being destroyed in this video. It's mostly men. And then there's this video. In this video, you can see all these circles. And in this 12-minute video, you will see the creation of all those circles. And they're all done by drone. They're all done by drone. You see that counter on the bottom there? it goes up to 28. And in this video, you see them all. And all of it is done by drones. FPV or bomber drones. 28. You saw the number. You'll see it in the video. It'll be linked. Just like the previous video. Both of them are not good. The guy who makes the video is clearly Ukrainian, and those are clearly Russian soldiers. Now, FPV drones come in two different kinds. You have the wireless and wired, because most of them now are fiber optic, because they can be jammed. And most units now, down to the individual soldier level, are starting to carry some kind of electronic warfare to try to stop these. So this has been the solution.
Footage from Ukraine's 63rd Mechanized Brigade shows the town of Lyman completely shrouded in a web of fiber-optic cables. Lyman is located in the Donetsk region, where Ukrainian forces recently announced that they repelled a Russian advance in the area. The successful operation helped stabilize Ukrainian lines and eased some logistical challenges. The footage highlights the intense level of drone activity and the major tactical role drones play in modern warfare. These cables pose a serious danger not only to soldiers, but also to wildlife in the region.
Photo of a field in the Ukrainian war zone, covered with fiber-optic cables left by FPV drones. Ukraine and Russia are using unjammable drones, connected with tiny optical fiber with a range of 10-20 kilometers. This fiber threads ends up on the ground at the end of the drone's use.
And as you can see, the fiber optic nature of these drones is blanketing Ukraine. And the production of these drones is in the hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. The United States has a lot of catching up to do. Also, the range on these fiber optic drones, there are now reports of 50-kilometer long FPV drone, fiber optic driven. Some amazing videos coming out of China where they're attaching those spools. So the United States has a long way to go. A long way to go. This is a story I did. I did a video about this a while ago. U.S. started to deliver 6,000 FPV attack drones to Ukraine. You heard the numbers. 50,000 per month. This was at a rate of 1,000 per month. Army sets out to buy 1 million drones by 2028. The Secretary of the Army is aiming to finally get this service out from behind the curve when it comes to fielding uncrewed aerial systems. And the company that's going to be building those is Neros, the company we covered at the beginning of this article, of this video. They are building wireless and wired FPV drones for the U.S. military. And 1 million, that's a good start. Unfortunately, that's just a start. Marines stand up attack drone teams. Russia creates a new branch of military dedicated to drone warfare. But what's the Holy Grail? The Holy Grail is the AI FPV drone swarm. So along with the 1 million the U.S. Army wants to buy, along with the wired and wireless aspects of these, I did a video about this, linked up here. Lockheed IBM unveils smart drone swarms to adapt and evolve in live battle zones. This allows for rapid, secure software updates directly to drones operating at the edge of contested environments without returning to base. So now you're going to take the operator out of the curve. And in the hundreds of thousands. Please watch the 2 videos I linked of what FPV drones are used for. It is Skynet. It is Terminator. It is frightening. It is absolutely frightening that you're going to have AI FPV drones hunting men. A lot of times with no men in the loop. Electronic warfare will be used to stop them, but I'm sure there will be a way that they figure out how to stay linked to a central hive mind or something like. Who knows? Who knows? DARPA knows. But who else knows is China. China's army adapts advanced FPV drone tactics reflecting modern warfare lessons from Ukraine. In a recent broadcast, the People's Liberation Army showcased its adaptation of advanced first-person view drones in combat scenarios, underlining its commitment to integrating cutting-edge technologies and tactics inspired by modern warfare trends. And China has already been supplying almost all of the technology in the Russian version of the Garand 2 drones, the larger Shahed 136 clones. I'm sure they're exporting hundreds of thousands of these to Russia, besides Russia producing their own. Why am I focused on that? Because of this. China can already produce 500,000 FPV drones monthly and up to 700,000 in wartime. The PLA has conducted 3 large-scale military exercises using power of drone swarms, which is a key topic of discussion between U.S. foreign partners and American officials at a forum in Singapore last week, media reports said. This is a drone swarm. Now imagine those AI, all with a small explosive device, all coming after you. On their own. Without a human in the loop. Sometimes with human in the loop, but the way we're going, AI drone swarms, that may not be the case. It's a little frightening. And if you think this isn't like right on our doorstep, China, Russia, Turkey, every other nation on earth getting drones of one form or another, well, it ain't just nations. Cartel members fought in Ukraine to learn FPV drone skills, report. Obtaining hands-on experience in how to employ FPV drones as weapons in Ukraine could radically speed up the learning curve for Mexican drug cartels. And if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching this channel, you know that the military involvement of the United States in Mexico has already begun. We have rivet joint aircraft flying on the coast, have had. We've had Reaper drones flying over Mexico. We have Green Berets in Mexico. We have the 101st Headquarters Unit on the border. We have the first the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division. I did a video on that too, right up here. This is right on our doorstep. one Texas cartel, I apologize. One Texas rancher has already been killed by an improvised explosive device. He was on the Mexican side of the border, taking care of some of ranch land, when he ran over one of these devices that was, experts believe it was not meant for him, that it was meant for another cartel. And cartels have already used drones against each other. This is an aerial bomber drone attack in, I think it was Michoacan, one cartel against another. As you can see, one of these drone bomblets is going to definitely strike something that caught on fire. And this is in Mexico. This is the second part of that attack. The drone gets shot down. Obviously, you can defend yourself, but boy, oh boy. And this is where the attack took place. This was another drone found in Mexico, one of the armed quadcopter drones reportedly captured in July 2020. 2017. This is right on the border, boys. And if you think that these things will not be used against Americans, should the American military decide to create a buffer zone, further secure our border, make an expedition. We've had an expedition into Mexico. This would not be the first or the second time the United States has gone into Mexico. Video here. Interesting times. But I saw this story, and it just started me down this rabbit hole. The world's first fiber optic FPV drone launched to survive heavy electronic jamming. And now the United States frantic race to get into the drone game. FPV and low-cost one-way munitions. The United States is scrambling from a position that it can catch up on, but right now from a position of being behind. That's what I got. Everything will be linked. I encourage you to watch those videos. They're not fun to watch, but if you want to know what drones are really being used for, they're not just blowing up tanks, guys. They're not just blowing up tanks. They go after men. And they do so primarily, as you can see, there's not a lot of tanks getting blowed up in this video. I appreciate you. Thank you.